Switch has over 4,500 games in its library. That's insane, but let's be real, not all of them are worth your time. This list, well, it's my top 10 best Switch games ever. My first recommendation isn't just one game, it's two. But let's be real, you can't talk about Breath of the Wild without mentioning Tears of the Kingdom. These games are connected, not just because one is the sequel of the other, but because Tears is built on top of what made Breath of the Wild a masterpiece. You wouldn't recommend Empire Strikes Back without A New Hope, right? Exactly. So when Breath of the Wild dropped in 2017, it changed gaming forever. Nintendo looked at traditional open world RPGs, laughed, and said, what if we just let people do literally whatever they want? And that's exactly what they did. The game barely gives you instructions. You wake up as Link after a 100-year nap, find out that Hyrule is in ruins, and that Zelda has been holding back Calamity Ganon for an entire century. Well, what's your job? To stop him. How? Figure it out yourself. And that right there is the magic of Breath of the Wild. You're dropped into a massive world with almost no direction. You want to climb every mountain? Go for it. Want to fight the final boss immediately with nothing but a stick and some mushrooms? Totally possible. Then there's the physics engine, which basically turns the entire game into a giant sandbox of chaos. People discovered ways to launch themselves across the map, build flying machines of metal boxes, and create some of the most ridiculous combat strategies ever seen in a Zelda game. It was a masterpiece. When Tears of the Kingdom dropped in 2023, it didn't replace Breath of the Wild, and instead it built on everything that made it great and pushed it to insanity. If Breath of the Wild was about freedom, Tears of the Kingdom was about creativity. Now you can build pretty much anything: cars, airships, battle mechs, and a fully functional computer. Like, someone actually made a calculator in this game. Why? No clue, but they did it. And it's not just Hyrule anymore. Now the world has 3 massive layers: the Sky Islands, floating ruins with Zonai tech, then you have the surface, a changed Hyrule, now full of caves, chasms, and NPCs who have tons of side quests for you to do. Then you have the depths, a massive underground which no one knew about before the launch. It's pitch black, terrifying, and enemies permanently damage your health bar until you find light. Good luck. The story also dives deep into Hyrule's past, like the Zonai. And unlike Breath of the Wild, Zelda actually plays a major role this time. And let's be real, Ganondorf's glow up alone was worth the hype. You just can't have Tears of the Kingdom without Breath of the Wild. Tears isn't just a follow-up to the game, it's a game that literally would not exist without Breath of the Wild laying the foundation. They're just two halves of the same game-changing experience, and if you're playing one, you have to play the other. Both are must-plays, and if you own a Switch and haven't played them yet, what are you even doing? Animal Crossing New Horizons isn't just a game. It was a global phenomenon. When Animal Crossing New Horizons dropped in 2020, it wasn't just the biggest Switch game. It became the social event of the year. The game literally launched at the most perfect time, right as the world was shutting down. And suddenly, everyone was on their island, fishing, catching bugs, and trading turnips like Wall Street stocks. People were having virtual weddings, birthday parties, graduations. This game was everywhere, and celebrities were playing it. Companies used it for marketing, and that's probably why it's the second best-selling Switch game of all time. But even if you weren't part of the 2020 Animal Crossing cult, this game still holds up as one of the best life sims ever made. So what makes it so addictive? Well, at its core, New Horizons is about building your dream island. You start out with nothing but a tent, but as you gather resources, craft furniture, and pay off an absolutely massive mortgage, thanks Tom Nook, you slowly turn your deserted island into a personal paradise. And when I say personalized, I mean it. This game gives you full control, terraforming your island, the design of your home, patterns on your clothes, furniture, and even the ground itself. Like, some players made full-on fantasy worlds, recreating Hogwarts or Middle-earth, even entire cities. Others, like me, threw down some random furniture and called it a day. The villagers are your favorite NPCs or your worst enemies. There's nearly 400 different animal villagers, so your island becomes this weird little community. Some are adorable, shout out to Goldie, and some are just unhinged menaces. I'm looking at you, Truffles. And here's the best part. Villagers have personalities. They gossip, fight, send you gifts, and sometimes they will just pack up and leave, not without your permission, of course. So whether they're your besties or your sworn enemies, they make your island feel alive. But there's more. If you ever get tired of the daily grind, there's Happy Home Paradise, the expansion pack that you have to pay for separately, that basically turns Animal Crossing into an interior design game. You decorate vacation homes for villagers, and the best part, you can take those skills back to your own island. Replayability is pretty slim because I can't bring myself to throw away all the progress I've made to my mortgage. So there's that, Tom Nook. But the game itself is more than just a cozy life sim. It's a social experience, a creative outlet, and somehow a game that tricks you into thinking mortgage debt is fun. So whether you're here to relax, grind for bells, or emotionally torment a villager until they move out of your island, this game is a must play on the Switch. This is the game that finally broke Pokemon out of its 25-year cycle. Like, for decades, Pokemon followed the same formula. You walk into tall grass, get dragged into a turn-based battle, defeat 8 gym leaders, stop some evil team from stealing some legendary Pokemon, and then you become the champion. Fun? Sure. But it's extremely predictable. Then Pokémon Legends Arceus dropped in 2022, and it said, what if we made Pokemon actually feel wild? A Pokemon world where people fear Pokemon. Unlike every other Pokemon game, this one doesn't take place in modern times. You're thrown through a space-time rift, as one does, into ancient Sinnoh, back when it was called Hisui. And instead of chasing gym badges, you're helping humanity understand Pokemon for the very first time. Because in this era, people are terrified of Pokemon. They don't catch them, they don't train them, they think they are dangerous. So instead of proving you're just the strongest, your job is to complete the first ever Pokédex by actually studying Pokemon in the wild. Sounds easy, right? Wrong, because in this game, Pokemon attack you. And for the first time, Pokemon feel like real creatures. Some will run away if they see you. Others, like Alpha Pokemon, extra large, red-eye, glowing, want you dead kind of chase you monsters, will chase you down. So you're not just walking into battles anymore. You're hunting, sneaking through the tall grass, throwing Pokeballs in real time, and dodging hyper beams to survive. And so if your Pokeball fails, you got 3 options. You can run, valid, fight, risky, or absolutely get demolished by a level 50 Alpha Garchomp, likely. There are also mass outbreaks where clusters of Pokemon randomly spawn, giving you huge catching opportunities, including higher odds for finding a shiny. It makes the world feel dynamic like no other Pokemon game has ever done. Now, it's not perfect, but it's a fresh start that Pokemon needed. And visually, it's a Pokemon game. The world isn't stunning, but it nails the atmosphere. The watercolor skies, the open landscapes, the thrill of spotting rare Pokemon in the wild. You know, it's as great as a Pokemon game can be. And the boss fights actually feel like boss fights. Instead of just spamming the same moves, you dodge roll like you're in Dark Souls while battling noble Pokemon, massive creatures with legendary tier power. So Pokemon Legends Arceus isn't just a great Pokemon game. It proved that Pokemon games don't have to be stuck in the past in the same cyclical game style. If you ever wanted a Pokemon game that actually challenges you, that feels alive and breaks the formula in the best way possible, Pokemon Legends Arceus is the game for you. Pikmin 4 is the kind of game that tricks you into thinking it's adorable. Then it emotionally crushes you when your tiny little plant army gets devoured by alien monsters. It's cute, chaotic, and low-key traumatizing, and yet it's one of the best real-time strategy games on the Switch. Like every Pikmin game, things go wrong immediately. You play as a rookie member of the Rescue Corps sent out to save Captain Olimar and crew after they crash-landed onto a mysterious planet. But in classic Pikmin fashion, you also have to rescue yourself while gathering resources, commanding an army of plant creatures, and trying not to get them eaten. This time though, you're not alone. Enter Ochi, the best space dog in existence. He can carry Pikmin, swim, fight enemies, and generally do all the things you wish your Pikmin were smart enough to do. He makes everything easier to the point where you might start wondering if you need your Pikmin at all. Not really. But basically, he's the goodest boy and makes everything much easier. At its core, Pikmin 4 sticks to what makes the series great. You explore, gather Pikmin, throw them at problems until it's solved. But this game also introduces some of the best mechanics the series has ever seen. For the first time ever, you can explore at night. And and it's absolute chaos. In older games, nighttime meant instant death for your Pikmin if they were left behind. But now you can fight back. Basically, the creatures go feral, attacking in waves, and you desperately have to defend your base. Thankfully, you get a new type of Pikmin, glow Pikmin, which only appear at night and are way stronger than your average plant soldier. It turns Pikmin into like a tower defense style game, and it's stressful but ridiculously fun. Then there are Dandori battles, which turn multitasking into a competitive sport. These time-based strategy battles pit you against the opponent to see who can collect the most treasure before time runs out. So you'll need to divide your Pikmin perfectly. How many should fight? How many should gather? How many should build? It forces you to think fast, act smart, and manage resources better than ever. So if you've never played a Pikmin game before, this is the best starting point. It's smoother, more forgiving, and packed with tons of quality of life improvements. If you mess up a day, you can just rewind time. Hate survival mechanics? Well, the food consumption timer is gone in this game. Need more time to explore? The game actually encourages it instead of punishing you to require you to meet a deadline. And visually, it's stunning. From lush gardens to sandy beaches, every environment feels alive. It's easily the best looking Pikmin game. But just one warning, if you forget to recall your Pikmin before sunset and hear tiny little screams as they get eaten, it will haunt you forever. So if you love games that blend strategy, puzzles, and emotional attachment to tiny little creatures, then Pikmin 4 is absolutely a must play. For years, Luigi has been the scared sidekick, the guy hiding in Mario's shadow, the brother who just tags along. But Luigi's Mansion 3 proves that when he's thrown into a haunted nightmare hotel with zero backup, he rises to the occasion, terrified, screaming, and all. Luigi isn't just the hero of the game. He's the most relatable protagonist Nintendo has ever created. Like every Mario adventure, Luigi, Mario, Peach, and Toad win a free vacation to a luxury hotel. And instead of questioning why random strangers keep giving them these free trips, they pack their bags and go. Well, that was a huge mistake because the second they check in, King Boo shows up, traps everyone in paintings, and leaves Luigi alone in a 17-floor haunted nightmare. Now, our anxious green plumber has to rescue his friends, fight off ghosts, and survive this horror show without passing out from fear. Luckily, he's got some help. And by help, I mean a high-powered ghost-sucking vacuum and a clone made out of literal goo. But it's more than just a vacuum. It slams ghosts in the floor like it's a WWE wrestling match, launches plungers and pulls objects. And then there's Gooigi, a gelatinous copy of Luigi, which can slip through grates, walk over spikes, and just be a little bit unsettling. But together they make the most unlikely ghost hunting duo ever. But the real star of Luigi's Mansion 3 is the hotel itself. This isn't just the creepy mansion with a few ghosts. This is a hotel completely insane. Every floor is a different themed world, and none of them make any sense whatsoever. One minute, you're on a pirate ship inside the hotel. The next, you're in a medieval castle. Then suddenly, you're solving puzzles on a giant movie set where ghosts are directing you. And let's not forget about the Egyptian pyramid randomly sitting in the middle of the hotel because apparently logic doesn't apply here. Every floor is like a brand new experience, packed with secrets, puzzles, and the ghosts, they're not just wandering around waiting to be vacuumed up. They have a little bit of personality too. Some are dramatic, some are straight up trolls, and some will throw furniture at your face just to see what happens. And catching them isn't just flashing your light and sucking them up. You have to stun them, dodge their attacks, and use the environment to kind of outsmart them. And when you finally grab one, you get to slam that sucker into the ground over and over and over. It's deeply satisfying. And then there are the puzzles. Some are simple, some require Gooigi-based teamwork, and then some will just make you question your IQ before you even figure them out. But the best part is they never feel repetitive. Every floor throws something new at you, keeping you hooked the entire time. And with this game specifically, I always replay it around Halloween, but really you can play it any time of the year. The spooky vibes are more Scooby-Doo rather than Silent Hill, making it hilarious instead of horrifying. And plus, it's Luigi. It's never going to be serious. So if you've never played a Luigi's Mansion game before, this is the one to start with. It's charming, creative, and an absolute blast from start to finish. So whether you're here for the ghost hunting, the puzzles, or you just like to hear Luigi scream in pure terror every 5 minutes, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a must play. And since we're on the spooky topic, this next game is one of my most favorite indie games on the Switch. Cult of the Lamb is what happens when Animal Crossing and a demonic horror movie have a baby. And somehow it works perfectly. It's a game where you build a cute little village full of adorable animal followers while also running a full-scale cult in the name of an eldritch god. If that sentence alone doesn't make you want to play it, I don't know what will. You start the game as a tiny helpless lamb about to be sacrificed by a group of ancient godlike beings called the Bishops of the Old Faith. But right before they execute you, you're saved by an even scarier god, a chained up deity known as the One Who Waits. In exchange for your life, you have to start a cult in their name and wipe out the bishops who try to kill you. So yeah, this game goes from 0 to demonic pretty fast. But then it throws you into a cozy village building simulator, and suddenly you're recruiting followers, farming crops, making sure nobody starves to death. One second you're hacking through monsters in a nightmare realm. The next you're back at your cult, giving a sermon while your followers cheer for you. It's like the perfect blend of a roguelike dungeon crawler and town management sim, and it just works so well. The cult management is basically your Animal Crossing moment. But instead of villagers asking for furniture, they're asking you to perform sacrificial rituals. You build houses, cook meals, clean up literal poop. Yes, that's the thing. And you keep your cult members happy. But if they lose faith in you, they might start questioning your leadership. And if that happens, well, you have ways to deal with that. Then there's the dungeon crawling, where you head to randomly generated dungeons to fight off enemies, gather resources for your cult, and take down the bishops of the Old Faith. The combat is fast-paced, hack-and-slash kind of action, and because every run gives you different weapons and abilities, it always feels fresh. But the faith system is what makes this game really shine. You need to keep your cult loyal, which you can do through sermons, rituals, or let's just say morally questionable choices. Marrying your followers, sacrificing them to gain power. It's for the greater good. Locking up heretics who question your leadership, or forcing them to fast for a couple days so you don't have to cook them food. That's efficiency. And the best part is the game doesn't judge you. It lets you make the choices whether you want to be kind, beloved leader, or an absolute tyrant who works their followers to death. What makes Cult of the Lamb so special is the contrast between the adorable art style and the absolutely unhinged themes. The characters look like they belong in a children's book, but the game itself deeply disturbing. And it's hilarious too. Your cult members have quirks that make them act like complete idiots. Like, they'll ask you to make them eat poop just for fun. And if you say no, they get sad. And the customization is ridiculous. You can name your cult, pick your doctrine, design the way your followers look, and every single playthrough is unique depending on how you decide to run things. So if you like cute, chaotic, evil games, then Cult of the Lamb is an absolute must-play. Just be prepared to answer some serious moral questions along the way. Super Mario Odyssey is Mario at his best. It's a pure joy-filled adventure packed with some of the best platforming mechanics ever made. It's a Mario game, so of course Bowser kidnaps Peach. But this time he's going full Bridezilla, planning a massive wedding and stealing decorations from different kingdoms. Mario tries to stop him. Bowser wrecks him and his hat destroyed. Enter Cappy, a ghostly talking hat whose sister Tiara was also kidnapped. Together, Mario and Cappy set off to stop Bowser, using Happy's superpowers to attack, platform, and most importantly, capture almost anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Instead of traditional Mario levels, Odyssey drops you into huge open sandbox worlds called kingdoms, each packed with secrets, challenges, and power moons, which you need to fuel your ship, the Odyssey, and chase down Bowser. And every kingdom, completely different. One minute you're in New Donk City, a realistic metropolis filled with actual humans. Yeah, Mario standing next to them is unsettling, but roll with it. Then you're in the Sand Kingdom, a desert that for some reason is full of ice. Then there's the Luncheon Kingdom, a world made of food. where almost everything looks like it was ripped from a fever dream. And if you want real challenges, there's the dark side of the moon, a brutal nightmare difficulty for the truly unhinged. The biggest game-changing mechanic? Capturing. Instead of just playing as Mario, you can possess enemies and objects, gaining completely new abilities. Want to be a Goomba? Done. Want to be a tank? Easy. Want to be a literal T-Rex? This game lets you do that within the first 10 minutes. Each capture ability changes how you move and interact with the world. Some let you reach new areas, help you in boss fights, and some are just absolutely ridiculous. Looking at you, stretchy wiggler things. Even when you're not capturing things, this is just pure happiness in a game. It's fun for everyone, whether you're here to explore and have fun, or you're a hardcore player trying to master insane trick jumps. It's packed with charm, from Mario outfits to tiny little details like how he shivers in the cold or falls asleep if you leave the controller alone too long. And the soundtrack? Absolute bangers! There's the Jump Up Superstar. It's a big band musical number that plays in New Donk City. It's easily one of the most hype moments in any Mario game ever. So if you love games that make you feel like a kid discovering video games for the first time, it's a game so fun and so polished that it reminds you of why you fell in love with video games in the first place. Nintendo doesn't always nail their remasters, but when they do, you get Metroid Prime Remastered, a game that doesn't just bring back the classic, it perfects it. This isn't just a fresh coat of HD paint on a GameCube classic. This is one of the best first-person adventure games ever made, completely rebuilt with gorgeous visuals and modern controls. You play as Samus Aran, the ultimate space bounty hunter baddie, who answers the distress call from a mysterious research station orbiting the planet Talon 4. When she arrives, she discovers space pirates conducting experiments on highly dangerous radioactive substance called phazon, aka pure nightmare fuel. And then everything hits the fan. Monsters break loose, explosions rock the facility, and Samus has to escape before the whole place blows up. But before she can leave, she comes face to face with Meta Ridley, her cybernetic dragon nemesis, who barely escapes. Naturally, Samus follows, setting up a full-blown exploration mission where she uncovers the mysteries of an extinct alien civilization while fighting off space pirates and phazon mutated creatures. And the best part is the game barely holds your hand. So there's no mission markers, no sidekick giving you hints, no constant pop-ups telling you what to do. You land on the planet, step outside your ship, and it's just you and whatever is waiting for you out there. You start out weak. Your suit is missing most of its abilities, but as you progress, you slowly rebuild back your arsenal. Every ability lets you access new areas, which means lots of backtracking, but instead of feeling repetitive, it makes the game feel like a giant puzzle box, constantly revealing new secrets. Every major enemy has unique attack patterns that force you to use every ability that you've unlocked in the game so far. From gigantic lava monsters to phazon-powered mutants, every boss feels like an event, the kind that makes your palms sweat and your heart race. And let's just talk about the atmosphere, because this game nails it. Metroid Prime is lonely in the best way possible. There's no dialogue, no NPCs, no press X to interact kind of moments. Just you and the alien planet, and a growing sense of something is about to go horribly wrong. The deeper you go, the more unsettling it gets. The music, the eerie silence, the way your visor fogs up when you walk through steam, it all adds to the experience that completely sucks you in. So if you love exploration-heavy games, sci-fi mysteries, and solving puzzles while occasionally blasting alien monsters in the face, Metroid Prime Remastered is a must-play. Some games play it safe. They stick to one genre, refine the mechanics, and deliver a solid but predictable experience. The Plucky Squire refuses to do absolutely that. This game doesn't just break the rules of what an action-adventure game should be, it rewrites it entirely. It's a platformer, a puzzle game, a side-scrolling shooter, a turn-based RPG, and a full-on 3D exploration game all at the same time. You play as Jot, a tiny little knight who lives inside a storybook. His life is pretty standard for a hero. Go on adventures, fight bad guys, save the day, until one day, the villain of the story, Humgrump, realizes something. He always loses. And instead of just accepting that, Humgrump does something that no villain has ever done before. He kicks Jot out of the book entirely, banishing him into the real world. The Plucky Squire isn't just an action-adventure game. It's a constantly shifting, genre-bending masterpiece that refuses to stay predictable. Inside the book, it's a classic 2D adventure. You're running through illustrated pages, solving puzzles, battling enemies. It's a top-down world. But outside of the book, it's a full-blown 3D world where Jock can hop off the page, explore the environment, and interact with real-world objects to affect what happens inside the book. And just when you think you've got it figured out, the game flips everything on its head. Nothing about this game stays the same for long, and that's what makes it so exciting. If the Plucky Squire was just one of these ideas, it would have already been a great game, but the fact that it seamlessly blends them all together makes it one of the most unique games that I've seen in years. The 2D sections look like a children's book coming to life, full of hand-drawn charm and vibrant colors. Meanwhile, the 3D world feels something straight out of like Toy Story, where everything is huge compared to Jock, making every jump, puzzle, and discovery feel magical. And the writing is hilarious. The characters are full of personality, the dialogue is fun and snappy, and the entire adventure feels like one big unexpected surprise. If you love games that constantly reinvent themselves, that surprise you at every turn, the Plucky Squire is an absolute must-play. This isn't one of the best indie games on the Switch. It's one of the most creative games ever made. For decades, Zelda has been the one getting kidnapped, waiting for Link to save her. But this time, she's the hero. And honestly, it's about time. Hyrule is in danger, because of course it is. But this time, Link is gone. Not captured, not cursed, just gone. And with no green tunic wearing hero around, Zelda has to step up and save the kingdom herself. But instead of swinging a sword like Link does, Zelda's power is way more creative. The Tri-Rod, which lets her duplicate objects and create echoes of them. That means instead of just finding tools and weapons, she creates them. If she needs a bridge, copy a bed and place it. If you need a ladder, copy a couple tables and hop on up. Stuck in a fight? No problem. Just summon a Lionel. Have it fight for you. You heard that right. You can place objects or enemies wherever you want. This game is basically the 2D version of Tears of the Kingdom. There's no one set solution anymore. Instead, you find one item that you need, you experiment, and you create your own answers. And it's not just for exploration. It works in combat too. Instead of swinging a sword, Zelda can just summon the objects and creatures to have them fight for her. And in addition to all of that, the game also just casually drops some of the most earliest Zelda lore that we have. I won't give away any spoilers. This game, like Tears of the Kingdom, completely flips how Zelda games have worked for decades. And the freedom it gives players is wild. For the first time in Zelda history, we get to see Zelda as the main protagonist, not just a side character or the damsel in distress, but the one saving Hyrule. And the world reflects that shift. The game's art style is so cute and toy-like. This isn't just another Zelda game. It's a fresh take on the series with a brand new way to solve puzzles, fight enemies, and explore Hyrule. So if you ever thought, why can't Zelda just save herself? Echoes of Wisdom is that answer. So yeah, the Switch library is stacked. If you've got a Switch and haven't played some of these yet, you're missing out. Did I miss any of your favorite Switch games? Let me know down in the comments, because I'm always looking for my next obsession, especially while I'm waiting for the Switch 2 to come out. Anywho, I'm Maddie, the hippie hacker, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!